Do you support regional voices as such, separate to a constitutional change, or do you think voice advisory bodies have no role to play?
Look, I think the government would be wise to go ahead with constitutional recognition as part of this referendum and drop the voice from being constitutionally enshrined and start off with a regional voice model that is legislated to demonstrate whether it could work or not. I think that's what needs to happen going forward. That's something that I'd be happy to support at this stage, but I certainly cannot support this referendum in its current form.
Okay, so the PM said he's not going to do that. He's going full steam ahead. So if this fails, doesn't it kill off constitutional recognition for a few years?
Yeah, look, and that responsibility will be on the shoulders of the Prime Minister. If that's what he wants to do, if he wants to put all his eggs in one basket and he wants to risk the constitutional recognition of Indigenous Australians by attaching it to their voice, then that failure sits squarely with him if that's what the end result produces.
What did you make of him telling us yesterday, Sky News yesterday, that he's after a short campaign on The Voice?
Yeah, I think he's reading the tea leaves now. Not just the tea leaves. I guess the polls are suggesting that there's dwindling support for the yes vote, and it's keeping Australians in the dark hasn't worked for him so far. And now he's continuing to do so by not announcing at Garma the date for the referendum. We're working towards October 14th. That is sort of what's been suggested with all his other commitments and what else is going on in the country at that time, and that's what we're going to work toward. And I think Australians by then will have had, will be tired of this referendum debate and want it over and done with.
And what do you fear most about The Voice? Is it this concept of separate Aboriginal politicians that aren't in Parliament? Is it an extra layer of bureaucracy? What is it that you personally see as so egregious about The Voice being in the Constitution, an advisory body?
Well, I think the premise, the principle of race is my biggest concern. The premise that it's based on this idea that as Indigenous Australians we're inherently disadvantaged because of our race and for no other reason, which is it was completely untrue. And, there are those that are very successful Australians. We have our most marginalised, whose first language is not English, who live in remote and regional parts of this country, where I believe efforts should be placed in terms of improving their lives. That is where we should be focusing our efforts. But we are being painted as a group of people as being disadvantaged because of our heritage, which is an out-and-out lie. And that is my biggest issue with The Voice and with the Voice debate going forward.
Jacinta Price, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks for having me, Andrew.